Welcome into another episode of the Los Angeles Rams Insider Podcast on Sports Illustrated from the Fans First Sports Network. My name is Tom Cavanaugh, and you can follow myself at TCAP30 on Twitter/X. And then follow our insider pages at Rams Insider on SI, both on Twitter/X and Facebook. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the power rankings that were released on a Tuesday morning. December 3rd here, getting towards the end of the season with just 5 games remaining. Week 14 is on the horizon, and a few different publications weighed in on where the Rams stand. They're still kind of in that bottom half of the league right now from most publications, including Sports Illustrated. We'll break that down. We'll also talk about a key acquisition that the Rams were able to pick up, claiming a guy off of waivers, a former first-round pick from the NFC. So this is going to be a little bit of both, talking about rankings and then how the Rams are trying to actively get better in the secondary to make a playoff push. So to start, we'll talk about these Week 14 or these upcoming Week 14 power rankings after everything was settled this week. The Rams anywhere from 16 to 19 or 18, I think, amongst multiple publications. Connor Orr from Sports Illustrated gave the Rams a number 18 ranking, and he led off talking about Jared Verse, who obviously has been incredible. He was the main reason why the Rams were able to win the game with forced incompletion on Derek Carr, getting pressure on the fourth down deep in the red zone. Orr went on to say Jared Verse has a comfortable lead among rookies and pressures and ended the game for the Rams on Sunday by clipping Derek Carr during a moment of true hesitation. He said he's such a smooth player and was in Carr's face from the get-go. Now, that is just one small tidbit of it, but also, that's probably a good reason why he was able to he didn't move him up any spots, but he definitely has a better outlook than last week after the Rams were pummeled by the Eagles. They were in a bounce back spot and did a nice job of it. Number 16 for NFL.com's Eric Edholm. He bumps up the Rams by a couple of spots. He talks about how resilient they were in the second half. It was the first time since Sean McVay was shut out in the first half of a regular season game back in the first 30 minutes against the Saints. And then they were able to kind of flex their firepower in the second half, scoring 21 points, outscoring the Saints 21-8. And that is why he brought them up to 16, just outside the top 15. But when you're 16th, there's 32 teams in the league. That's dead even right in the middle, swaying between both sides. Nate Davis from USA Today kept the Rams at a similar position at 18th. Many writers have really kept them there around the 18, 17 spots. That's where David Hellman has the Rams at 17. He's from Fox Sports, and he gave the Rams the largest jump. He had them at 21 last week and brought them all the way up to 17. So something must have really sparked his interest that he saw in that second half, even though, rightfully so. The offense, the adjustments that they made were great. And then also defensively, the entire game, they were awesome, holding the Saints to 2 field goals in the first half and just 1 score in the second. That was a touchdown with a 2-point conversion. And then obviously we mentioned Fisk coming up big. So when you look around the NFL, the major publications that talk about the National Football League, everybody's kind of sitting there around the 16 to 18 zone for this Rams team. Now, that could change drastically if they're able to pick up a win this Sunday at home against the Buffalo Bills, a team that's won 7 straight. They're 10-2, one of the best teams in the AFC, if not the very best. Chiefs are up there too at 11-1, but they just keep getting lucky and have they have the lowest point differential for an 11-1 team in history, which is crazy. In other news for the Rams, they were able to claim Emmanuel Forbes Jr. off of waivers. He was cut by the Washington Commanders on last Saturday. Forbes, he was just in his second season in the NFL, drafted first round 16th overall by the Commanders 2 years ago out of Mississippi State, and he only played in 6 games this year. Now, last season, he didn't have a ton of time. He played in 14 games, but logged just 38 tackles and 1 interception. And this year, 7 tackles in 6 games with an interception, 1 pass deflection as well. The production, and I guess probably when you look at it, the amount of snaps that he got was just not there. Now, when you look at the cornerbacks for this Redskin or this Commanders team, they brought in Mike Sanders still from Michigan. He was a rookie who's been playing fantastic. They've got some key pieces on that defense. The Commanders are no joke. They're one of the better teams in the NFC currently, kind of fringing on a playoff spot. They should be able to get in with a favorable schedule. But Forbes cut, very, very surprising considering he was just a year and a half into his tenure in the NFL. But the Rams were quick to jump on him. Just a few days later, they claim him off waivers. He's going to join that secondary and be a huge help to them in the backfield, or in the secondary, I should say. And head coach Sean McVay actually spoke to the media on Monday and talked about Forbes and how they were actually scouting him when he was at Mississippi State. So this is a guy that they wanted from Jump Street when they started their recruiting process 2 years ago, and they didn't get him, but they do now. And he's going to be joining the likes of Cam Kinchins, Kobe Durant, Quentin Lake, all those different guys in the secondary for the Rams, and should be a key piece, hopefully. You see this sometimes where guys are on one team, they don't get a ton of production. The coaching staff might not see many opportunities for them, but when they get that change of scenery, they're a whole different player, and their uptick in production and snaps excels. A couple other things we want to mention real fast. Tyler Higbee, the starting tight end for the Rams, he is probably going to sit out one more week. Head coach Sean McVay spoke back on Monday talking about Higbee, and said that it's a possibility that he plays this week, but not extremely likely. They'll probably give him one more week before they go on the road to play the San Francisco 49ers in week 15. I think that's smart. I mean, if the Rams were a couple games above 500 right now and they were comfortably looking at a playoff spot, maybe you bring him back in a key game that you need to win, but also you want to prioritize this guy's health. I mean, he had his knee blown up at the end of last season in the NFC wildcard game against the Lions, and he hasn't seen the field since. So prioritizing Higbee's health, making sure that he's 110% ready to go, that's the biggest thing. So I like the decision to keep him out one more week. Also because Colby Parkinson, the free agent signing that came over this past year, he's been serviceable. He's been nice. Catching a few passes every single game. He's a good target, has nice hands, and he played several seasons for the Seahawks, so he knows this division well. And Higbee, when he's back, he'll just be an extra piece to help out with Parkinson and the rest of that passing. Finally, rookie defensive lineman Braden Fisk. He spoke on the Kay Adams show, the Up and Adams show, earlier on Tuesday morning, and he was asked, out of his 6 sacks, which leads all rookies and is tied for the lead for the Rams, which one of those is his favorite? And he replied saying, any of the Seattle ones. And he was asked why, and he said that the Seattle fans are the worst. And so he is very quickly getting into these NFC West rivalries. He said, any of the Seattle ones, I'm tired of hearing from their fans. Kay Adams, host of the show, said Seattle fans chirp the most. And Fisk replied back and said, oh, yeah, Seattle fans are the worst. So, I mean, that's where Seattle gets their 12th man from. They hang a flag at Lumen Field, and they take on that extra identity of being the 12th man on the field to really impact a game from around the gridiron. And they do a nice job of it, obviously, because they're pulling quotes from Fisk. He is very aware and was impacted a little bit, but more so positively because Braden put up 2 sacks in his only game against Seattle. And it's funny. Like I mentioned just now, he's only played 1 game against Seattle in his career, but he's already starting to feel these rivalries, which is awesome because Fisk is buying into this Rams culture and what it means to be part of the NFC West. That's going to do it for us here on the Los Angeles Rams Insider Podcast. You can follow myself, Tom Cavanaugh, at TCAV30 on Twitter/X, and our insider pages at Rams Insider on SI. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow.